Halo Infinite's winter update is okay. Kinda. You see, this video is actually a little bit clickbaity, because I actually quite enjoyed the winter update and everything it brings. What bothers me, however, is how it's handled. Let's start with Forge, as it is the headline for this update, and as a kid who grew up goofing around in Roblox Studio, I know some immediate annoyances when in Forge. The main one being is that the keyboard and mouse controls just aren't great. For example, deleting things is the delete key, which does make sense, but I personally think backspace would have been a better option. Snap to ground uses a key I forgot even existed, that being the end key, and for some reason undo and redo just, show up on controller, but is nowhere to be found on PC. Moving objects while moving your camera is a little awkward at times, and I wish I could use the scroll wheel on sliders, like for example, size X. The rotate tool doesn't work too great with a mouse, and moving and scaling objects is a bit sensitive. On the topic of scaling objects though, while it is a brand new feature that is incredible to have, I really wish I could scale each side individually, like how Roblox has it. Look at this clip here of me moving only the right side of this block on Roblox, while the left side stays in place. While on Forge, the entire thing expands in both directions. The locking feature on Forge is really nice to have, as I've already accidentally selected the ground and flinked it away from me multiple times. However, I wish locking objects was a bit easier. On Roblox, I can select an item, or multiple items, and click lock at the top, or use the lock tool. On Forge, I have to select an item, then go into the Forge menu, find the tab with all the folders, and click on the lock button next to the object's name. This also might be a good time to mention the UI is a little messy and hard to read. Anyways, I really like that Forge has multiple snap values for each tool. However, I do wish we could enter our own snap values, and this is a minor thing, but I had what I can only assume was a bug, that being when I spawned an item, for some reason it spawned really far away from me. Now, when it comes to scripting, it's mostly great. However, the two things that bother me while messing around with it is 1. Weapon combining is awesome, but why can it only combine weapons with campaign variants? Like, yeah, I did make that AR that shoots rockets like I wanted to make, but I'm a little confused on why I only had the option of the M41 tracker and not just a normal spanker. 2. I don't think I can input custom text or strings. However, this one makes a lot of sense for content moderation reasons, but it's still a little disappointing. But that's really all of my complaints when it comes to Forge, and overall, it's still an incredibly powerful tool that has already made some insane creations. Now, let's talk campaign for a second. Mission replay is great. It should have been there at launch, but it's great. And I really enjoy how I can do things like bring the Bloodblade and a maxed out grapple into the very first mission, and the way it's built into the attack map is really nice. But overall, not much to say about it, and we are still sadly waiting for a restart from Checkpoint. Campaign co-op on the other hand, I've yet to try, but I can already say that I really like how it's implemented. Being able to progress everyone's campaign is goddamn fantastic, and I like the idea of starting where the player with the least amount of time in the campaign left off. However, well-known Halo YouTuber Hidden Xperia made a very good point about both campaign co-op and mission replay during his winter update livestream. That point being, you should just be able to select a mission within the campaign main menu, because while I was just giving praise to both of these features, the solution still isn't perfect. Like, let's say 4 buddies wanted to mess around on the second to final level of the game. Maybe in specific the section with waves of enemies. Well, if one of those buddies has never played the game before, it's a sucks to suck, too bad, you're starting on mission 1 and there's nothing you can do about it. At least until you're in the game and can open up the attack map, when preferably, the host should be able to select any mission they want in the main menu, and this goes for people playing the campaign solo as well. If I wanted to load into just Pelican Down for example, I should be able to load into just Pelican Down. Overall though, campaign co-op does look fun as hell and I'm incredibly excited to play it. Now it's just multiplayer things to talk about. For starters, the weapon balancing changes all seem to be good. Maybe just the commando that seems OP. Challenges are 10 times better now, but give way less XP. But that's not that big of an issue because match XP exists now, and match XP is pretty good. Personally, I think maybe MVP should give you 100 XP instead of 50, but I don't know. The 2 new Forge maps that 343 made are pretty good, but maybe a bit basic when compared to community Forge maps. The new mode Convert 1 Flag is surprisingly really fun, but now it's time for the bad stuff. The community tab and file share is weird, because while in theory this file share is great, the UI and weird choices make it a little annoying. Like, let's say you wanted to search up a map. Well, there is no top of the screen search bar or anything like that. There is a tiny box slapped on a side with all the filters called keywords, and clicking on that opens a text box, and that's sort of the only search bar. Navigating the file share is a little odd, because for some reason it's Z and X to swap pages on PC, the thumbnails never load, and when they do, the thumbnails is almost always just a canvas's thumbnail that the map was made on, so you can have a screen just filled with the image of the void. And it seems that their original intention was to have players upload their own images, but for content moderation, only Xbox can do that right now, I think. But maybe just add like a camera object in Forge, and whatever the camera sees will be your thumbnail for a map, if that's even possible. Not sure what to do about game mode file, however. One thing that I wish could be added is bundling a game mode's file in a map's description, or vice versa, for maps and game modes that were made for each other. However, in the meantime, they did add a neat little button at the bottom of a user's file, letting other players view all the other files that user has made. But while this button is really nice, it also makes me wish we just had an option to look up users and browse their files in the social tab, because right now, while you can view other people's files, ranks, campaign completion, and armor in the social tab only shows you your fire team, your friends list, and people you recently played with. No option to look people up like in MCC. And the finds friend button literally just brings up a button for Discord and a button for Steam. It's kind of pointless. The final weird file share thing I'd like to mention is the useless buttons on my own files. Bookmarked, rate, report, and save a copy. Like, yeah, these buttons are great for other people's files, but why would I ever need these options for my own files? Giving myself 5 stars is the equivalent to liking my own tweet on Twitter. I can report my own file and try to get myself banned, and I can save a copy of a file I already own because it's mine. However, bookmark is probably the most confusing of these, because, well, these two menus exist for a reason. Anyways, besides custom game settings still being bad, I think that's me done with the file share stuff. Now let's talk about the customization and battle pass side of things, because this is probably what upsets me the most. When it comes to the store, the dailies are back, so that's pretty cool. And I've already encountered a weird bug with the cat ears. For some reason it shows the ISR helmet no matter what, even if I press try on, which is funny because I don't even own the helmet. And the free kill effect is neat, but now let's focus on the free 30 tier battle pass, which I have to be honest, I'm really mixed on. On one hand, the rewards are really cool, and I'm happy to be getting them for free. On the other, 343 structures these passes so badly it's insane. Like, why are we still doing the emblem filler thing where each variant of the same JPEG is its own tier? Why are left and right shoulder pads not one tier? And why are XP boosts and challenge swaps their own tier and not being bundled with other items? And the leaked event passes are even worse, like Winter Contingency 2, which contains 3 out of the 4 emblem variants for the holiday 2022 emblem. Yup, not even all 4. It contains a weapon emblem, a vehicle emblem, and a nameplate, but no armor emblem. But the armor emblem does exist, I've already found it, but who knows how the hell you're supposed to get it. The pass also contains 3 tiers of the exact same coating for 3 different guns, and while I guess this is more acceptable for coatings, I can't help but think that this wouldn't be an issue if cross-core coatings existed for the weapon cores. And it's sad to think that these filler slots could have been used for the other leaked winter items, like the Snowflake weapon charm, the Snowball weapon charm, the Candy Cane knife, the Rudolph helmet attachment, and all the frost effects, mythic, kill, shoulders, and horns. But nah, these will probably all be store items now, because that's just how it is. And it sucks because I really do love all the winter cosmetics they have made. The Joint Fire event isn't as bad when compared to Winter Contingency, but the main issue here is that the commando shoulders that have been in the game files for forever now are nowhere to be found. They aren't in the 30 tier pass, and they aren't in Joint Fire. Probably going to be in the store. And the one last thing I'll complain about is the new Mark 7 helmet attachments, because I actually really like all the new Mark 7 helmet attachments. But for what it seems, after me checking every Mark 7 helmet, these new attachments are only on 2 helmets, which is so incredibly lame, especially when you consider that the cat ears and calling cards are on every single Mark 7 helmet. But for some reason, these new attachments don't seem to be anywhere, when they very easily could be on every Mark 7 helmet. Like, trust me, if I could put a Santa hat on my aviator, I would, but it seems I can't. And yeah, that's my long and boring rant for the new winter update. Right now, I think I'm giving it like a 6.5 or a 7 because of how 343 handles these things, but that might go up after some Forge customs and campaign co-op. And believe it or not, but this update makes me even more excited about the future of this game. And yeah, that's it. Bye, goodbye now.